All right, in this video we're going to be talking about the Unit 4 test review part 2. All right, so as you see, a lot of geometry stuff going on here. Now, the thing that you got to remember when it comes to geometry is don't get overwhelmed by the geometry aspect. Really, all you're doing is solving equations, and it just has a little bit of a geometry twist to it. So, for example, in question number 1, these are vertical angles, which means this angle and this angle, they are exactly the same. So the way that you'd set up the equation is 2x plus 1 is equal to 81. Then, of course, you would subtract 1, and then you would get 2x is equal to 80, and then you divide by 2, and then x is equal to 40. All right. So for question number 2, notice how you have a straight line. Okay, so straight lines equal 180 degrees. So the way you're going to set this up is the two things that are circled, 3x plus 1, and you're actually going to add it to the other one, which is 86, and you're going to get 180. All right. So from here, you're solving for x. Again, like I said before, all this is basically algebra with a geometry twist to it. So first thing I got to do is combine like terms. So 1 and 86, I get 3x plus 87 is equal to 180. Then I'm going to subtract 87 on both sides, and I get 3x is equal to, I believe this is 93. I'm doing this all in my head here. And then, of course, at this point, I'm dividing by 3, and then x is equal to 31. All right. So question number 3, if you remember, you kind of dealing with a semicircle here, and I told you if you're ever dealing with a semicircle, you're dealing with 360. So I'm just going to write this off to the side, 360. So I'm going to add all these things up and set them equal to 360. So x minus 17 plus 231 plus 100 is equal to 360. All right, as always, we're combining like terms. So in this case, I'm going to combine the negative 17, the positive 231, and the 200, and the 100, and the 100, sorry. And so when I do the math, and I can't do this off the top of my head, I think I can, but I'm just having a slow moment. I believe I get 314. So it's next step is x plus 314 is equal to 360. Subtract 341, subtract 341, and my answer is x is equal to 41. Nope, scratch that. My x 341. Oh, sorry, you're probably yelling at the screen. It's dyslexic. It wasn't 341, it was 314. Sorry, 314, 314, and my x is going to equal 46. All right. So for question number 40, I'm sorry, question number 4, as you can see, you're dealing with the right angle symbol. So that means this angle and this angle both add up to 90 degrees. So 4x plus 5 plus 6x plus 5 is equal to 90 degrees. All right. So there's a couple of like terms. First off is the 4x and the 6x. So add it together, you get 10x. Then you have this positive 5 and this other positive 5, which is 10 as well. So at this point, we're just going to subtract 10, subtract 10. We get 10x is equal to 80, and then x is equal to 8. Very simple. All right, so question number 5, we're dealing with a triangle. The thing about triangles is that they all equal 180 degrees. All right. Now, one of the things that students are going to do is they're going to add these two because there's actually numbers. However, people will tend to forget that. Guys, this is a 90-degree angle. Make sure you include that in your calculations. So 4x plus 50 plus 90, and I'm going to set it equal to 180 because all triangles add up to 180. Now at this point, we're going to again add 140. So it'll be 4x plus 140 is equal to 180. Subtract 140, subtract 140. You get 4x, which is equal to 40. So x is equal to 10. All right. Now, question number 6 is exactly the same way, and I'm just going to go ahead and give you the answer. The answer is going to be 8. All right. Now, I'm going to kind of erase a little bit so we can have some room to write here. So question number 7 and 8, now you're dealing with a four-sided shape. All right. Now, this is something that you're going to have to remember, and that is all four-sided shapes add up to 360. So you're going to add all of these angles and set them equal to 360. Now, it doesn't matter what you write first, as long as you just write them all down. So 7x plus 13 plus 8x plus 2. But don't forget about these two 90 degrees. Plus 90 plus 90 is equal to 360. And I know I'm writing all over everything, but it's all right. So first thing again, combining like terms, 7x and 8x, that's 15x. Now I'm going to add the 15, or the 13, the 2, and the 290s. All right, so I believe that's 195. And it is. So plus 195 is equal to 360. Now at this point, you should go into automatic mode. You're going to subtract 3 from 360. And so when you do that, you get 165. So 15x is equal to 165, and then I divide by 15, and x is going to equal 11. So the answer is 11. Now, for question number 8, you would do the same exact thing. And again, just because of time, I don't want this video to be forever today long. You're going to do the same exact thing. You're going to add up all these numbers, and then you're going to solve for x. And your answer ends up being, for question number 8, 9. All right. So question number 9, we've dealt with this several times before. Bob just bought a car. He discovered the depreciation rate can be represented in this equation. So here's kind of like a little typo in this one. This is supposed to be an exponent, so it should be 50,000.98, and it should be to the power of n minus 1. Just the formula or the worksheet didn't allow me to do that, so sorry about that. So first thing, again, this is a guess and check situation. So we're going from 50,000 all the way to 30,000. So I'm just going to guesstimate. I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm just going to say 10 years. So what happens after 10 years? How much is the car worth? So this is what I'm going to write in my calculator, 10 minus 1. And most of you guys are getting this right now, so I'm hoping that very few of you are having issues with this. So after 10 years, the car is worth 41,687. Oh, that's too much. All right, obviously, again, we're going down, but not enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know what? What happens after, let's just say 20 years. So A of 20 is equal to 50,000, parentheses, 0.98, raised to the power of 20 minus 1. And the answer ends up being 34.62. Oh, we're getting closer. So once we're getting closer, a lot of you guys have gotten a pretty good way of doing this. Typically what y'all do is y'all just start, all right, honing in. A lot of y'all just go, A of 25, 50,000.98, 25 minus 1, and that gives me 30,173. Well, that's getting pretty close now. All right, so again, I'm going to speed up here. If I was to do the 26th, it would be 30,173. All right, we're really close, so let's do A of 27, and that will give me, oh, here we go, 29,570. So, conclusion, 26 is too big, 27 is too small, so 26 to 27. There we go. All right, Logan's Logging Company offers a special, y'all have seen this several times, so A of 11 is equal to 334.20, and then it says A of 17 is 177.20. Now we're trying to find R. Remember, finding R means we're taking the later term, dividing by the earlier term, and then we're going to root, okay? So the later term is 155.20 divided by 334.20. Do the math, you're going to get an ugly decimal. Yep. And the more numbers you put at this stage, the more accurate it's going to be. So 0.46439. I'm just going to put that much. But remember, you got to root it. So that's the 11th term, that's the 17th term, that is the 6th term. So the 6th term of 0.46439. All right. Again, the more numbers you put down, the more accurate it is. And your answer is going to be, in my calculator, I got 0.87999, and it says round to 2 decimals, so 0.87 become 0.88. All right. Now, finding the first term. All right. So we've done this several weeks now. All right. So remember, it is for geometric, so A of n is equal to something, parentheses something, n minus 1. I just found my r to be 80.88. That's x. I'm just going to go ahead and do 155 here. I'm going to put 17 right there. So it's going to be 155.20 is equal to x, parenthesis, 0.88, 17 minus 1. All right, so 0.88. 17 minus 1, which is actually 16. Again, another ugly decimal. The more numbers you write, the more accurate you are. So 0.129336x. Well, I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide by 0.129336. So 1. And I get, we're just going to round to the nearest whole, 890. There you go. All right. Moving on. Okay, so here we go. Some more investment questions. When John was 20 years old, he invested. Here we go. Compounded monthly. That's the big boy. That's B is equal to. I'm just going to go ahead and write how I type it into the equation. 1 plus 0.0278. It says monthly, so that means 12 carat. 12 times, it was 20 years old, 54 years old. That's 34 years. All right. Now, 20 is our starting point. All right, that's the principle. Now, here's the thing, guys. You've got to remember what the calculator is going to give you and what is that number. So the calculator gives me an answer of, let me clean all this up here. The calculator gives me an answer of 51,410. Now the question is, does it go here or does it go here? All right. Well, first off, very simple. I'm just going to use the eyeball test. Balance, and my formula starts with the B. So that means this is going to be 51,410. Okay. So if I started with 20,000, I now have 51,000. A simple subtraction problem will tell me how much money I made, which is 31,410. Pretty simple. All right. So when Sam was 20 years old, he invested in account, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here it goes, continuously. So I'm using the formula with the P in it. 33,000 E carat 0.0375. Again, it started when it was 28 years old. Now it's 67. I believe that's going to be 39. I don't know. Yep, 39. Again, the principal is 33,000 because that's what we started with. Let's see what our calculator will give us. Remember, you will be having your formula sheets, so a lot of the guesswork should be taken away. All right, so my answer gives, or my calculator gives me 142,452. Okay, there we go. Big number. It's okay. Is that the balance or is that the interest? Well, again, eyeball test. The formula started with a B, balance. So obviously it's going to be my balance. 142,452. Now again, I started with 33,000. I now have 142,000. What am I going to do? I'm going to subtract to figure out how much money I made. So 109,452. There we go. All right, so when Dave was 30 years old, he invested up simple interest. That's the I formula. 35,000, parenthesis, 0.031 by 30 years, or 30 years, 48 years. That's times it by 18. So again, what is the principal? 35,000. That's what we started with. All right, so 35,000 times 0.013 times 18. And my calculator gives me 19,530. Now, here's the thing. Is it balance or interest? Well, again, using your eyeballs. My formula started with an I, and that's the I blank. So that means it's going to be 19,530. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. So if I started with 35,000, if I made 19,000, how much do I have now? Well, I'm just going to add them up. I should have 54,530. There we go. That's it. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I believe that was the last question. It is. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.